So we've now just had our second oil tanker flow through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is hearing the United States president, no doubt. In focus now, Victoria Coates, Vice President of National Security for the Heritage Foundation, and also former Deputy National Security Advisor during President Trump's first term. So, Victoria, we're starting to see a little movement. We are far afield from what normally would be passing from that strait and how normal kind of progress would be happening at this point. But that's two oil tankers and another ship not carrying oil in the last little while. Your reaction?
Well, it's a start, Harris, and I think the Iranians are trying to maximize the leverage their control of the strait gives them. But I think they're aware that this is an asset with declining value. You have the entire region getting together to try to create bypasses for the strait going forward. So they have this leverage now, but they're not going to have it in a year. So yes, they're going to use that as strongly as they can in these negotiations this weekend. But I think we also need to bear in mind, that this is the last time they're going to be able to play this card, and we're going to be in a much stronger position going forward.
Just real quickly, because, we often will see the markets jump on this. I just want to mention it, that right now there are 187 loaded tankers that are waiting to cross the Strait of Hormuz, according to Kepler data. We learned this from our Fox Business correspondent, Lauren Simonetti. They're carrying 172 million barrels of oil and refined products like jet fuel. It will take the product about a month to hit all the refineries and move forward, according to experts at Rystad Energy. So that's really what's in play here. And as you're saying, nations are looking to pipelines like the one that Iran just hit inside Saudi Arabia yesterday, Victoria.
Yes, that's the Petra line that's been moving about 7 million barrels a day east to west across the Arabian Peninsula. But the country I think we really should start talking about is Oman, because you could build pipelines through Oman and bypass the strait. And Oman has to be, I think, sick of being looped together with Iran as these kind of co-custodians of the hostage taking of the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, I think Oman might want to, they were shelled by the Iranians during Epic Fury, and maybe they would want to be more strongly lashed up with UAE, their neighbor, with Saudi Arabia, with Qatar, with Kuwait, and with Bahrain, and that group of countries then can develop this alternative architecture, leaving Iran utterly isolated.
So it's interesting, the strategy that you're talking about that's going on, not even in the background, just a side-by-side with everything that Iran thinks it's accomplishing right now, which is zero. President Trump is looking to hold NATO's feet to the fire on their participation or non-so. He's floated exiting the organization. But the Wall Street Journal is reporting he's now considering a narrower plan to punish allies for not backing the United States in the Iran conflict. President Trump met with NATO Secretary General yesterday and posted this on those allies. None of these people, including very disappointing NATO, understood anything unless they have pressure placed upon them. He also said NATO wasn't there when we needed them, and they won't be there if we need them again. NATO chief Mark Rutte says this.
He is clearly disappointed with many NATO allies, and I can see his point. This was a very frank, a very open discussion, but also a discussion between two good friends.
Victoria.
Yeah, the Secretary General has, a very difficult job right now, and he's a good man and a friend of the United States and to President Trump. And I think he is doing his best with a rather bad hand that he's been dealt by what I call old Europe. And these are countries like France and Spain in particular. The UK has been disgraceful. These should be our best and strongest allies. But we have to bear in mind that New Europe, Poland in particular, the Baltics, the Scandinavian countries have really stepped up and helped us, and I think shamed some of those old Europe countries into doing more. So I think the situation is salvageable. I think the Europeans are going to have to deal on Greenland and on their defense expenditures, and then maybe we have a path forward.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.